All right, are we rolling?
We're still rolling.
All right.
Today we're going to be making dairy-free chicken enchilada Suizas, my childhood favorite. Just because you're going gluten and dairy-free does not mean that you are going to miss out on all the familiar favorite recipes of your childhood. This is a really good dish because we're going to use gluten-free tortillas and we're going to use this vegan cheese. And honestly, if you don't tell them, I think you could get away with them not knowing the difference at all. So we're going to start with the salsa verde. I want to get that done first so that it's waiting for us when it's time to assemble the enchiladas. All right, we're going to use a large sheet pan and parchment paper. So this sauce has whole tomatillos, poblano pepper, white onion halved and peeled, a whole bunch of green onions. Just trim off the hairy ends. I'm not measuring, I'm just gonna drizzle oil over everything here. Kosher sea salt. Season as we go. Pepper. All right, so I'm tossing everything, making sure it's all covered in the oil and the salt and the pepper. We're gonna take our oven rack. We want it about 8 inches from the heat element. That looks about right to me. Now I'm gonna turn this on to broil. That will probably broil for 10-ish minutes. So I'm smelling things a lot. So here we go. Woohoo! All right. I'm gonna take these green onions out and just let them hang out. These still need to brown some more. So we're gonna put them back in. All right, let's look. Ooh, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Things are gonna get smoky. Don't be afraid of smoke. All right, so immediately I wanna take that pepper and I wanna put it inside of a container with a lid. And we're gonna steam that for about 10 minutes. That's gonna make it much easier to take the skin off. Set that aside. See, it's looking very wrinkly. So I'm peeling the skin off. Here we go, see, look at that. Ooh. Okay, this is peeled. I'm just gonna open up the chili, and now you can see inside all these seeds and just slide them out with a knife into the upright blender. There are some juices here that I wanna put in the blender. Oh, shit. We don't wanna miss the opportunity to layer in more flavor, so quickly chop up pepper, stick that in there. We've got our green onions. Cilantro. We're gonna use half for the sauce and the other half for the filling. You don't need to worry too much about this. It's gonna be delicious and it's a very forgiving process. A shit ton of herbs, the juice of a lime. Here we go. We're gonna blend. There we go. All right, I'm gonna say it's done. Let's taste it. Oh my God, yes. That's perfect. So now we're gonna make the filling, which I'm gonna use a rotisserie chicken. I think it's just a lot easier to get a rotisserie chicken. Then you've got a combination of white meat and dark meat. It's also already cooked, so you've got that extra layer of flavor. It's seasoned. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take the skin off of the chicken. This is a bit of a process. We're taking all the meat off of everything, the breast, the dark meat, the legs, the thighs. I'm gonna brown the onion. We're gonna add a few tablespoons of olive oil, get the onions in. I definitely want these to cook, but I don't want them to burn, so we're gonna go slow on that. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt to the onions, a little bit of pepper. Okay, so while that's browning, we're gonna dice the chicken. This doesn't need to be very fine, but you definitely want to break it down. I go in strips and then turn it sideways and run the knife through it. Oh, they're getting a little bit of color, so we're just gonna get this chicken in here quickly, which is gonna make the pan less hot too. Okay, season as we go. We're gonna add more salt, more pepper, ground cumin, ground coriander. Oh my God, this smells so good. Add a little bit of broth to the pan. You can use chicken broth, you could use vegetable broth. If you don't have broth, you could use water. Again, I just think it's another opportunity to add more flavor. About a half a cup, we'll see. I'm gonna add more. I'm just trying to prevent the food from burning. I'm trying to scrape up those bits of flavor that are stuck on the bottom of the pan that have all the spices in them. This needs to be moist. I don't love that word, but that's what it needs. Nobody loves that word. Now I'm just gonna add in a little bit more flavor, and we're gonna do that by adding a little bit of the salsa verde in here. We're gonna add about a half a cup. If I keep cooking it, all the water is gonna evaporate and then we're gonna get dry again, and then we're gonna have to start adding more broth and things, and I don't wanna do that. I'm gonna stop it for a minute, and I'm gonna grab my cheese. I am gonna be using a vegan shredded cheese. I'm gonna turn the heat back on really low, and I'm gonna use like a handful of this. Yeah, that's plenty. Just like that. Not too much. Enough that it's gonna get cheesy and gooey. You'll see this will melt in a minute once it heats up. So that's what we want. We just wanted it to melt. I'm gonna grab a little bit of cilantro. Just rough chop it. I'm not looking to mince this. Dump that in there. Stir those in. This smells delicious. Now we assemble the enchiladas. First, I'm gonna add a little bit of oil. Put a little bit of the salsa verde in the bottom of the dish. Just wanna spread that around. I am using gluten-free tortillas. These are made from rice flour. They are very pliable. Now we're gonna put the filling in the middle. And I kind of fold that over, and then I kind of pull back a little bit just to sort of make it a little tight and tucked, squish in the sides because it might spill out, and then roll over. You want the seam side down in the dish. So, 1. Beautiful. Now we're just gonna cover the enchiladas with more green sauce. So if you're gonna use a dairy-free vegan cheese, I wouldn't necessarily go overboard, because then you can maybe taste that it's vegan cheese, and we don't wanna do that. We're trying to get people to become familiar and enjoy these alternatives rather than be turned off by them. I'm gonna say that's plenty. Now I'm gonna cover this with tin foil, and we're gonna bake it in the oven at 375. Put the oven rack in the center. 15 minutes. All right, I'm gonna check on this and see how the cheese is doing. And we wanna take the cover off anyway, so. All right, this is looking really good. I'm gonna let it cook uncovered for a couple more minutes just to finish melting the top, and then we can broil it real fast just to get a little color on the cheese. So we're gonna wait 5 more minutes. Now I'm gonna switch my oven to broil. Keep your eyes on it. It can burn fast and ruin everything. So here we go. Almost there. Yeah, we're good. See? Look how fast that was. All right. Can you see it? Can you see it? Ta-da! Isn't she beautiful? Beautiful. Little cilantro. All right. That's really good. If you eat dairy, I would definitely plop a big blob of sour cream on top of this. But if you don't eat dairy, it's so good. It's rich and it's creamy. The cheese is nice and crunchy on the edges. The tortilla is perfect and soft. It's perfect. You won't miss the gluten, you won't miss the dairy. And now I am going to eat this, and maybe this entire tray all by myself.